All right, so today we're diving deep into AI-powered photo animation. Those Russian articles you sent over?
Yeah.
It seems like it's really blowing up right now.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how it's, going from being something that only specialized studios could pull off to something that like anyone can mess around with, even just on their phones.
Yeah, exactly. And, the articles mentioned a bunch of different tools and services, Animizer, Depart, even some we've probably heard of, like Adobe After Effects, Wondershare, Filmora.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like everybody's bringing their pictures to life these days.
Yeah, and it's a great example of how AI is becoming so powerful and accessible, like creating stuff that you used to need, like serious experts and tons of resources for.
Absolutely. And one article even uses this phrase, automatic photo animation, which, it sounds pretty straightforward, but I'm curious, what's driving this whole surge in popularity?
Well, I think it's deeper than just like a new technology.
Yeah.
Think about how we deal with content these days. We're just bombarded with visuals constantly, and our attention spans are shrinking. So AI photo animation, it lets you create something eye-catching, something that stands out, in this crazy digital world.
That makes sense. It's not just about being able to do it. It's about needing to do it to capture attention. And the articles highlight some pretty cool benefits, like obviously saving time is huge.
Oh yeah, imagine trying to animate every single frame by hand.
Yeah.
That's real dedication to the craft. But AI just brings so much efficiency.
Right. And it's not just efficiency. The articles talk about the quality that you can get from these results and how customizable these tools are so you can really fine-tune the animation.
That creative control, that's so important. It's not about, AI replacing artists. It's about AI giving artists new tools and possibilities.
Definitely. One article even had this step-by-step guide for beginners. Choose your photos, pick the software, upload, mess with the settings, and you're done. Pretty simple, right?
Deceptively simple. Like, it's amazing how easy these tools are to use.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to remember, garbage in, garbage out. The quality of your original photos, that's going to make a big difference in how it turns out.
That's true. And speaking of options, they even had this table comparing a bunch of these online services, Animizer, Depart, Pixaloop. It outlined their functions and how much they cost.
I think that brings up a good point, though. Like, what are your priorities? Do you need a specific style? How important is that it's easy to use? How much do you want to spend?
Right. Good advice. And for people who'd rather use their computer, there's stuff like Adobe After Effects, which a lot of folks are familiar with. Pixaloop even has a desktop and mobile version. There's also Wondershare Filmora, which is more for video editing, and Animaker, which is specifically for animation.
And the great thing is, all these tools, they have their own way of doing things. Some give you tons of control. Others are all about speed and simplicity. So the choice really depends on what you need and your vision as a creator.
I want to get a little technical now. The articles talked about how machine learning and neural networks are being used to analyze images and create these animation effects.
Yeah, we're talking deep learning. These AI systems, they're trained on massive amounts of data, like images and videos. They learn to recognize patterns and recreate those natural movements. It's crazy how much they're improving, and the animations just keep getting more realistic.
And the articles break down some of those techniques, like pixel animation for that, that classic kind of retro look, and frame interpolation to smooth out movements.
Oh, and there's motion effects, like adding camera shake or zooms makes it feel more dynamic. And for the really complex stuff, some systems even use 3D model manipulation.
Wow, that's wild. So many different techniques to create different styles.
Right. Are you going for something whimsical and cartoony or something more cinematic and realistic? Knowing the different techniques, it helps you choose the right tools to get the look you're going for.
And then they jumped into something called AI animation photo, which I gotta admit was new to me. It was all about the algorithms and the stuff that makes it work.
One of the big technologies behind it is something called generative adversarial networks, or GANs. Imagine two neural networks, battling it out. One creates images, the other tries to figure out if they're real or fake. And that competition is what makes the system generate these super realistic, high-quality results.
That's fascinating. And since image quality is so important, the articles gave some tips on picking the right photos for animation.
Yeah, because choosing the right photos, that's key to making a good animation. It's not just about, technical stuff. It's got to fit the story you're trying to tell.
Yeah, they recommended photos with lots of different angles to create depth, high resolution for clarity, and dynamic scenes to keep things interesting. And then they emphasized photos with emotion and a consistent theme.
It's kind of like cooking. Your photos are the ingredients, the AI tools are your kitchen appliances. You can have the best blender in the world, but you're not going to make a good smoothie with bland fruit.
And when it comes to actually making the animation, they talked about how easy it is to use a lot of these online tools.
That's where the fun starts.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to just jump in and play around. You might find some creative stuff you never even thought of.
Totally. And once you've got your masterpiece, the article was really big on optimizing it for social media. They had this whole table with recommendations for each platform, like formats and sizes and stuff.
Yeah, don't skip that part. It can make a big difference in how well your animation does. Like, imagine spending all that time making something amazing and then nobody can even watch it because it's not formatted right.
So true. We've covered a lot. It's pretty incredible how AI photo animation is making it possible for anyone to create this kind of content.
It really is democratizing the whole process, giving people the power to produce stuff that used to only be possible for, huge studios with big budgets.
It's not just about access, though. It's about efficiency, too.
Yeah.
These AI tools, they can save a ton of time and effort compared to traditional animation.
And that doesn't mean creativity goes out the window. You still get to make all the important choices, like the style, the software, the techniques, and like the story you want to tell.
Absolutely. And it all begins with choosing the right photos. Remember those tips: varied angles, high resolution, dynamic scenes, emotion, consistent themes.
And once you have your source material, the sky's the limit. Try out different online services and programs. Think about what's important to you: easy to use, affordable, a specific style.
And don't forget about optimizing it for whatever platform you're sharing on. A little attention to detail there can go a long way.
AI photo animation is changing so fast. It's exciting to see what it can do. It's really pushing the boundaries of visual storytelling and opening up new ways to be creative.
I'm definitely feeling inspired after this. It's crazy how quickly it's advancing. Makes you wonder what the future holds for AI content creation.
The possibilities are kind of endless. Stuff that used to be science fiction is becoming real. It's a really cool time to be a creator.
I've loved this conversation. Now I want to hear what stood out to you, what really caught your attention, what questions are you thinking about now?
I think for me, it's just how accessible it's becoming. Like, we're talking about something that used to be only for like fancy studios, and now anyone with a smartphone can try it out. It's really changing who gets to create content.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. And it's exciting to think about how we could use it beyond just, everyday stuff. What about its potential in other fields?
Oh, that's where it gets really interesting. Think about education.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we could bring historical figures to life, make history lessons way more engaging.
I love that. Instead of just reading about Abraham Lincoln, students could see him delivering the Gettysburg Address. That would be so cool.
Exactly. And it's not just history. Think about science, like stuff that's hard to understand from a textbook. We could visualize it with these amazing animations.
Right, like seeing a cell dividing or a chemical reaction happening, way more impactful than a diagram.
And what about historical preservation? Restoring old photographs and even animating them, bringing the past to life in a whole new way.
That's incredible. Imagine seeing your grandparents' wedding photos animated, like you're actually there.
Exactly. It opens up so many possibilities for connecting with the past, both personal and, our shared history.
Okay, so you've talked about the good stuff, the technology, the potential, but like with any powerful tool, there are things we need to think about.
Oh, absolutely. We have to be careful about how this technology is used.
Yeah.
Making sure it's not used to spread, like fake news or create harmful content. It's a powerful way to tell stories, but we need to be responsible.
That's a really good point. Being able to change images so convincingly, it means we have to be even more careful about what we see online, making sure it's real. Like, deepfakes are already a problem, and this technology could make it worse if it falls into the wrong hands.
It really shows how important it is to, be smart about the media we consume. We need to be able to look at things critically and not just believe everything we see.
Yeah, we can't just passively take in information anymore. We have to be more active and figure out what's real and what's not.
But let's not focus on the bad stuff. The positive applications are amazing. We're really just scratching the surface of what's possible.
I'm super excited about its potential in education, like interactive textbooks that bring history to life. Students could engage with the past in a whole new way.
And think about the impact on research. Imagine scientists being able to see complex data and processes through animations. It could lead to breakthroughs in medicine, climate science, engineering, all sorts of fields.
It's a really exciting future you're painting.
A future where creativity and knowledge are more accessible than ever before. That's definitely something to be excited about.
I'm feeling really inspired after this deep dive. It's amazing how AI photo animation is changing the creative world, opening up new ways to express yourself and be innovative.
It really shows how creative humans are and what happens when technology and creativity come together.
Okay, now I want to hear what stood out to you. What sparked your imagination? What questions are you thinking about now?
For me, it's just the sheer amount of ways we can use this that's so interesting. We talked about entertainment, education, history, science, and that's just the beginning.
It feels like this tech could touch every part of our lives, changing how we learn, how we work, how we talk to each other, how we see the world.
It reminds me of how fast technology is changing and that the possibilities are pretty much limitless.
It's definitely powerful. And like we talked about, it's up to us to use it in a good way, to benefit everyone and avoid any potential harm.
Yeah, that's a responsibility we all share as we explore this new frontier. We need to be talking about the ethical side of these technologies and work together to make sure they're used to make the world a better place.
I totally agree. Before we wrap up, I want to throw this out there. Have you tried AI photo animation yourself? We'd love to hear about it, your process, the stuff you've created.
Yeah, share your thoughts, your challenges, your successes. We can all learn from each other and keep exploring this together.
This deep dive has given me so many ideas. I can't wait to see what you all create and how you use this incredible technology to share your vision with the world. And it's really cool to think about how this technology can give a voice to people and their stories. Imagine anyone, no matter what their skills or resources are, being able to bring their ideas to life using animation.
It's really leveling the playing field. We're moving away from this world where only big studios and companies could make those visually amazing things. Now anyone can have the tools.
It's like giving everyone a paintbrush who wants to create art, even if they've never had any training. It opens up so many possibilities for people to express themselves and show their unique perspectives.
And it's not just for entertainment. Think about the potential for social impact. People could use this technology to raise awareness about important issues, like advocate for change or document their communities.
Yeah, you're right. It's a powerful tool for storytelling, and that's always been how humans connect with each other, share knowledge and inspire action.
It's really interesting to think about how this will all evolve, in the future. What new things will they come up with? How will it change the lines between what's real and what's digital?
It's kind of like back in the early days of the internet. We knew it was going to be big, but we couldn't really imagine how much it would change our lives. I think AI photo animation is kind of at that point now.
We're just starting to figure out what we can do with it. It's exciting, but also a little scary. We need to be thoughtful about these advancements, Consider the good and the bad.
This deep dive has been really eye-opening. We've covered so much, like the technical stuff, the creative potential, the ethical side of things, and what the future might hold.
It's definitely a complex topic, and this conversation is just the beginning. It's important to keep exploring these ideas, share what we think, and have open discussions about how this is going to shape the world.
We've given you a lot to think about, and now we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts about all this? Have you tried any of these tools?
What excites you about it?
Yeah.
What worries you? We're all learning about this together.
So join the discussion and tell us about your experiences. We can all keep diving deeper into AI photo animation together. We can't wait to see what you create and how you use this amazing technology to share your stories and ideas with the world.
And that's a wrap for our deep dive into the fascinating world of AI photo animation. Thanks for being with us on this journey. We'll be back soon with another topic to explore. Until then, stay curious.